I must say this is going ever so much better than it did last time. Okay, so I've finished stitching that piece. I'm just taking my pins out. There we are. That's 5 pieces on, and I've only been here for 10 minutes or so, I think. So I'm just going to flop that piece back down, and we're going to do the trimming thing. Turning it over with the printed side up, folding it back, and you can see we are getting these more sort of messy edges now as more pieces are involved. Just trimming that to 1/2 inch. Turning it over and finger pressing the new piece into shape. There we are. So the next number is number 6. I get confused with 6 and 9. There we are. Number 6. So that's going to be this triangle here. I think I might go for a little pop of black here. Use this sort of spotty piece. Now, obviously, this piece is huge, but I'm not going to bother to cut it down and potentially waste some of it. I'm going to use the whole piece, and then what ends up being cut off is all in one bit, and therefore much more useful. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but you do end up wasting less fabric this way, I think. So I'm going to just pop an edge there. Again, making sure that it's overlapping that stitching edge. Couple of pins. Oh, that was a bit dusty. Oops. I make a mark on my fabric. So I'm just pinning it like that, the whole piece. And I'm going to stitch along this line here. Back in a minute. Oh, need to change thread now. Ooh. Oh dear. See, I've got the needle threader out and I'm too stubborn to use it. Right, here we go. Okay, just coming to the end of that line. There we are. It really is so quick. This is me saying it doesn't take me more than an hour. Right? It doesn't take me more than, it doesn't even take me half an hour. Okay, so I've stitched along that line. I'm going to turn over, take out the pins. Turn it back over so the printed side is facing me, and flip it back, and you can see we've got quite a long edge to cut off this time. Let's go. We're gradually trimming away all that excess fabric as we go along. And when I first started doing this, I really had to make myself trust the instructions and just go with it and hope it worked out, because there was a point where I thought this is just not going to work, but it really does, and it's so easy. Flip that over so we can see what we've got. Finger press the new piece into shape. There we are. And you can see that obviously the new piece goes way over here. But as we bring in the next pieces, the next round, that will all sort itself out, I promise. Now, I want to do my opposite, my number 7, also in the black spot. So, do I dare cut a piece off there? Got plenty. No, I'll use another piece. Let's be on the safe side. There we are, it's a little piece. So, I'm now going for number 7. Make sure the previous pieces are finger pressed into shape. Lay down that next piece, number 7. Make sure it's overlapping the line, it nearly wasn't. And repeat the process. And it's such a, you know, eventually you just don't think about this at all, and you can be chatting away, having a cup of coffee with your mates, watching the telly or whatever, and just doing this, and before you know it, you've got so many squares done. Okay, just coming to the end of this line. Flip over, take out the pins, flip it back, and trim my edge as before. You can see really wonky bits sticking out now. You know, if you end up cutting up some of these wonky bits and they're big enough to use again for another piece, then obviously keep them because you can use them again. But these bits are so small, I'm just throwing them away. So, finger pressing that new piece into shape. There we are. Looking good. So now I need to do pieces 8 and 9. That's upside down. 8 and 9. So, I might go for a, I'm going to go for a flowery bit for this one. To be honest, it doesn't really matter if you do 8 or 9 first. The thing is that it needs to be the opposite ones, so it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I did 8, 9. It needs to be opposite sides, rather than, don't be tempted to go around because the pattern won't work out right. So, whether it's 8 or 9, I'm going to do this piece next, making sure these pressed pieces are in shape. But so leave these overlapping, don't sort of pull them back or anything. There we are. That's it. So it looks a bit messy, but it does all work out. So I've made sure that this raw edge is going over the line I'm going to stitch on. And that all of these previous pieces are all finger pressed into shape and smoothed down before I put that new piece over. You don't want any of them kind of rucked up underneath, otherwise that is going to make a mess. Carefully turn it over. And I need light thread again. Okay, back in a minute. Okay, just finished stitching that line. Obviously, as you go along with each round, the line you have to stitch gets a little bit longer. But even so, it's no more than a couple of minutes to stitch each line. So there's my new piece. But obviously I need to just do the trimming bit, so I'm flipping that back down, leaving the previous pieces up, flipping over, turning that back on itself, and you can see, if only I had a proper camera set up, so it'd be a lot easier. You can see that I've now got quite a lot of excess fabric to be cutting away, and some of those pieces I will be able to use again. Little bits like that are going in the bin. That's one big piece left, which obviously I could use again. I've ended up with that. Still got this. This will come off on the next round. So, let's have a look at the right side. There we are. So I'm thinking I'm going to go with the, I'm keeping the opposite pieces the same, so I'm going to get some more of the flower. I just need to make sure that this piece is big enough to cover piece number 9. Oh yes, plenty, big enough. So same process again, and I'm just going to stitch this last one and show you. Oh, throw that pin in the bin. And that one. Why do pins go rusty? All in an airtight container. I say they're stainless. How can they go rusty? Okay. That's that last piece pinned into place. I'm going to turn over and stitch along this line. There we are. Right, that's my number 9 stitched into place. I've removed the pins. I'm going to fold this back and just trim off those edges. See if I just finger press those into shape. You can see how quickly this is coming together now. I've just got one more round to go. So all I've got left now are pieces, let's do it the right way up. 10 and 11, 12 and 13. So I'm not going to bother going through those now because I think you've probably seen enough of them. But when you've finished, you trim off the excess all around, having done a little basting stitch just to keep it all together. And then when I've done all of these pieces, they'll all be stitched together and I'll be adding my border pieces, and I'll come back and show you that hopefully in a couple of weeks, because it's going that quickly. So I hope that's helpful. Since I started doing this, I have realised that this idea isn't new. Foundation by the Yard obviously makes it very easy, but foundation piecing isn't a new thing. Perhaps if I'd have searched for a tutorial on foundation piecing on YouTube, that might have been helpful. But anyway, there must be other people like me who've never come across this before, so I hope somebody out there finds this useful and have a go. I'm itching to have a go at just doing some crazy patchworking by this same method. And I can't get my head around whether or not that would work, so watch this space. Okay, well, thanks for watching today. See you again soon. Bye bye.